This time at Coastal Motorsport, we dive straight back into the carbon fibre Camaro build, and there have been some massive steps forward. The shell has been painted, the engine is going back in, and the team are even having a go at wrapping. There's been loads happening since the last update, so let's get you up to speed.
Panels on it.
Look at the carbon Camaro.
That looks really cool.
We are going to raptor the underneath of the car, so I can do it in sections. So I'm going to do the back first and work my way forward, and then we're going to put the new rear subframe back on, which is out of an M3. And then once it's back on its wheels, we can move it off the ramp and we're going to paint the insides.
What colour? Like, because people
a gunmetal grey.
So the Raptor's gunmetal grey as well.
The Raptor is gunmetal grey.
So it'll give it like a tough.
It'll give it a tough finish.
Yeah.
And the same colour as the car, so it's easier than priming it, etch priming it, this and that. So I'm still going to put a little bit of etch primer on the aluminium. That's semi-bolted in, but it's on. The door is on, but it's just, I've got no bond at the minute. I've got no...
what, James?
James Bond, so, but it does open.
Yeah.
So I accidentally forgot to set up a time lapse with Paul painting the bottom of the car, but it has all been painted and it's all looking pretty darn beautiful. So that's all done under here. He's also, let me lower it down, all of the inside has been painted too now, and it's all the same gunmetal grey, and it looks phenomenal.
Good morning, folks. Happy Thursday. I haven't done one of these in a while, so just trying to catch up, really. So the job for today is we're going to make a windscreen. So what we're going to do, we've got a brand new glass windscreen here, which is obviously too heavy. So I'm just making a pattern for it. Does that come up there like that? Perfect. We're going to cut this pattern out and then we're going to put it on the poly and make a windscreen for it. Which I want to start sealing up the inside because all the inside now is all painted, all looking lovely. I've got pedals in already down there. Look, we're doing bits and pieces. Lovely. Plus the boots. Boots all done. Fuel tanks in, pretty nice and firm, lovely painted in there as well. So that's the plan. The carbon roof is now bonded on. So it's all systems go for the next 2 weeks. I reckon this is going to be done pretty much finished in the next 2 weeks now because it's just literally bolting everything back on again. Engine's here, ready to go in. Gearbox is just having a couple of little bits and pieces done to it and a nice clean.
So here we are, we're back making panels for the Camaro. I've got a bonnet mould. Anyway, I'm prepping the mould now and getting it ready.
This is something that came out of our old car, the E90, the 320D. Go back to one of our first videos on the Camaro, you'll see that car. This has obviously all been cleaned up. It's got new arms. It's got new arms on it. Ash is hard at work. Ash? It's got new wheel bearings on it. All of this stuff we're going to go adjustable when the car runs, do you know what I mean? Like, we want to get the car dialed in first and driving before we can start spending loads of money on adjustable arms and stuff. So for now, this will be okay. It's going to get a thicker anti-roll bar and better links because it's all absolutely knackered. But yeah, that's the front subframe for now. It will be changing. I was on eBay. I was on the internet and I found this, which is essentially a new old stock, completely unused rear end from an E92 M3. So it's got the slippy diff, the LSD, mechanical LSD, new arms, a little bit more adjustment on camber. You've got concentric bolts for camber and toe at the rear, which is quite cool. Obviously got your gas golds on there as well. Nothing's tight yet because if you tighten them up, you can't then adjust the height, and it has to be sat on the floor before you tighten everything up, otherwise you knacker all the bushes in the arms. The rear anti-roll bar is actually from an E90 M3, like I say. This is thick enough for us to run for now. Obviously the brakes, they're all unused as well, so new discs, new pads, all much bigger than the stuff we were going to originally run with, so that's good. Drive shafts again, stronger, especially with the amount of power we're putting through them. We want some decent drive shafts so we can rely on these. So we've got the 348mm BMW disc replacement. This is a big brake kit, which is just like a standard upgrade for a 335, but these are from a Megane RS, I think. So the big Brembos, and then you've got RS29s, which is the pad we normally use for racing anyway. Stainless steel brake line, which is obviously much lighter than copper. Not as flexible, but it'll be okay. We've got a really nice kit to make the brake lines up, so
Perfect.
okay.
Tom did a good job putting the engine back in, didn't he, Paul?
Done a really good job.
Paul did it, didn't he?
Paul did it. He put the engine back
He
in.
put the engine on his back.
Honestly, I was outside doing something, mucking about. I came in and it was in. He's not, you're not in the finest of shape at the moment, or with your pains you've got, and he's just put the engine on his own.
Yeah, all of his pains, aches and pains.
I've done it that well, we decided to take it out again
We did.
to fit the slave on it.
No, that was the sump.
Oh, the sump, that's
No,
it. We
the
had to change the sump. Yes, baffling, isn't it?
The windage tray, the old windage tray, is out of the OEM sump from the LS3, and we now have a Billy's Speed Shop plug bolt-in baffle kit for this original sump, so we know when the sump goes back in, it's safe. We have no oil pickup sloshing issues.
Didn't do sloshing.
But we know the sump fits the car and the subframe so far. We didn't want to go and put a baffled sump, an aftermarket one. We weren't sure it'd fit in the M3 subframe, so
No.
we now know this will fit because it's the same one that we've been using the whole time. So, but it's safer now.
Should we put the engine back in again?
Again, yeah, good. So so that's in. There is oil in now as well, which is good. It's essentially a bit of a game of wiring it all without making sure anything melts. So
We don't want any
we've got
meltage.
little boots on the HT leads.
They're
The
quite
exhaust,
cute,
I've
though.
never wrapped an exhaust before. Heat wrapping, it's not great, but it's not bad.
It's okay, I think you've done a good job there, mate.
So that's all wrapped up now.
Excellent,
Metal
well done.
cable ties we've never used before.
Metal
One of them
cable
ended
ties.
up in my fingernail, and that's just routing the wiring. Most of the wiring that goes around the back of the engine is all in that now.
Perfect.
Just to keep it safe. I've got another section of it which will go around where the starter motor wiring goes, because it's right next to the exhaust. We don't want that melting either, so that will go in there. And now it's just routing all the wiring, nice and tidy. So you can see it's all kind of routed in there. So it doesn't, when you stand back, it doesn't look like there's much in there, but actually there's a lot of wiring in there which is all sort of hidden. So it all comes through this main bulkhead fitting, which is not finished yet, but it's just going to have some wrap around it. But that's going to be nice and tidy.
And then there's all of this to go in.
Which is good.
Do you know where any of that goes?
No, I do. I've had it running before, so it's a nice, easy process. It's just making it tidy.
You look stressed, Tom.
I'm not.
getting the seat in so we can basically work out where the kill switch is going to go. But the seat's got going anyway because we're done. It's all lovely in here.
It's beautiful.
So
The Haltech is now going back in.
yeah, Haltech will be going in a minute as well. Everything's steering's in, pedals are in, all the slaves are in.
Oh, you didn't talk about put all the fire extinguisher cables in as well, didn't you, before
Yeah.
the engine went in?
Yeah,
so
they're
it's
all done.
nice.
I've got to put another one and do them up, but they're down in here all nicely. It was easier to put them in while the engine was out.
There's a very cool battery. We haven't spoken about the battery, or have we? I'm not sure.
We haven't.
The battery we had in, that if you'd seen the video where it was starting to run, we had a big battery in it.
With a truck battery in
Basically a truck battery, and it weighed 24 kilos, I think it was.
24 kilos.
This was the lightest battery I could find. It was quite expensive. It's a lithium-ion one, so it's not a liquid battery. It's actually a solid-state battery, I think they call it. I'm not sure what you actually call it, but it's not got any liquid in it.
It's got like, yeah.
And it weighs 2 kilos. I couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it, right? When you picked it up, it's wild
It
how
is
light it is.
insane, this little battery.
It's the lightest battery I've ever, and it's got a big punch. It's got the same punch as the big battery.
The car's all going back together. We needed to think about what's going to look like. So we did consider painting it, but we went to all the effort of making it light, and paint can weigh quite a lot. So we thought, get some wrap. So Rob just went online, and I'm sure he just bought the first blue and yellow that he found. So it's sort of a bit lighter than we sort of thought, but it's going to do. I don't think it's anything fancy wrap. It's not like the that you can get some that's, what do they call it, like wrinkle free or something like that. But I think this is just bog basic blue and yellow wrap, and we have a livery design here. Okay, so I'm sorry about the mess. It's because I've not cleared up since I've done the bonnet, which is downstairs. So I've got to sort of clear up all this, but don't look at any of that. Today, we're doing this, which is the front bumper for the car. There's one down there that Paul and Rob made like right at the start of this journey. So like, but it was just a quick thrown together wet lay bumper. So I'm going to wet lay this, but I'll try and do it a bit better. It's going to be a little bit tricky. You've got quite a lot of curves and things like that, and some of these corners to get into, but I think this is being wrapped, so I don't need to be too pretty as to where I lay the carbon and everything like that, so I can sort of put patch. I think it'll almost be like patchwork, but as long as it's nice and solid and light, I don't care. Okay, so I've given it quite a few coats of Easy Lease. I don't need to do any more Easy Lease. I've got some carbon there. I've got loads of offcuts of carbon here. Like bits like this are going to be like really handy for, you know, getting around those intakes and stuff like that. So I've got quite a lot of little bits of offcuts from making other bits and pieces. So that's going to really help to lay this up. So, but I think first things first, it's time for a coffee. So I probably should address this. We decided to change our YouTube name from Rock Up Racing to Coastal Motorsport just because it was getting quite confusing. We've obviously got Coastal Motorsport here, and everything, like all the stickers are all on the cars, on the lorry, everything's Coastal Motorsport branded. So we thought we might as well just go all in and put it all into one. So that is the reason why we are now Coastal Motorsport on YouTube. That was good. Break the TV. But yeah, so that's basically it. Nothing really much more than that. So Coastal Motorsport, I hope you're subscribed. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. And there it is. The lower bumper.
Very good.
It is a bit better than the other one that was on there, wasn't it? That's really good. Cool. I'm gonna go on holiday now.
See you at the end of the month.
See you later.
See y'all.
Look at Tom's face. He's so worried.
We're giving it all. Thunder rising, chasing the line. Workshop